Do you have that one?
Welcome to the live stream. If you haven't watched me before, my name's Adam Cray. I talk politics in the United States of America, but I talk to radical people, people on the farthest right side of the political spectrum, and try and convince them not to support Trump and not to exist on the right side of the political spectrum. If you're someone that's interested in that, you will love my content. So stay tuned. And don't forget to subscribe too. If you're watching this video and you're about to watch this live stream, do not forget to hit the subscribe button, right? We really got to start like blocking people who don't subscribe. I'm going to be dead, literally dead after this stream. I really am. I have a cold. And I've been streaming all day and I'm dying. Not literally, figuratively, but, you know, that's where we stand. So let's get going here. Nayland, thank you so much for kicking off and sending a $4.99 super chat. Thank you so much, Nayland. Appreciate you. Yeah, because I'd rather push it out. Right, that's the way it goes. Let's see what background do I have up here. I do want to put a picture up here. Let's use this one here. Desktop. Image. Desktop. Nice. There we go. Rory, thank you for the $4.99 super chat, Rory. Appreciate you, Rory. Yeah, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Stuck at work and bombarded. Okay. Let me turn on the phone lines here. I see there are people calling, but you have to wait 1 second until I pull up the VoIP system here. All right, if you are a Trump supporter, you're welcome to call in now. I just turned the phone lines on, so you have to call now. Not another. Thank you so much. Not another. Yes, we will go through the recording and stuff like that at some point. Yes, we will. Wait, let's look this up here. Minnesota just sued the Trump administration over federal invasion. Wow. So Minnesota's starting to take action. They are suing the Trump administration over a federal invasion, stating that the widespread immigration operations are a federal invasion of the Twin Cities, according to a lawsuit filed on Monday. Let's read through this. Janet, thank you so much, Janet. I really appreciate the Venmo, Janet. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Janet. I appreciate you. Let me read through this. The state of Minnesota and the Twin Cities are suing the Trump administration, arguing the unprecedented federal immigration operation in the state is a federal invasion, and seeking a court order halting the crackdown, according to a lawsuit filed today. This has to stop. It just has to stop. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison said at a Monday news conference announcing the suit. Let's take a listen really quick to what Keith Ellison had to say about this lawsuit. This is very important information, so glad to hear this. This is happening right now. Let's take a listen to what they said. Let's take a listen, everybody.
To this press conference with Attorney General Keith Ellison and the mayors Jacob Fry and Khalil Hur.
Let me welcome all the ladies and gentlemen of the press. Thank you all for being here today. My name is Keith Ellison. I'm the Attorney General for the state of Minnesota.
Folks, we'll take calls in a minute. We do want to hear this really quick before we start taking calls, so let's just hear this really quick. Very important breaking news. Minnesota is filing suit against the federal government.
And I'm so honored to be joined and in partnership with the city of Minneapolis under the leadership of my friend Jacob Fry, and the city of St. Paul under the leadership of Mayor Hur, who is also a dear friend of many years. We've come together, and we're here to announce a lawsuit we're filing against the United States Department of Homeland Security to end the unlawful, unprecedented surge of the federal law enforcement agents into Minnesota. Because this has to stop. It just has to stop. We allege that the obvious targeting of Minnesota for our diversity, for our democracy, and our differences of opinion with the federal government is a violation of the Constitution and of federal law. We allege that the surge, reckless impact on our schools, on our local law enforcement is a violation of the 10th Amendment and the sovereign laws and powers of the Constitution grants to states. We allege that DHS's use of excessive and lethal force, their warrantless, racist arrests, their targeting of our courts, our churches, houses of worship, and schools are a violation of the Administrative Procedures Act on arbitrary and capricious federal actions. And we ask that the courts will end the surge of thousands of DHS agents into Minnesota. We ask the courts to end the DHS unlawful behavior in our state, the intimidation, the threats, the violence. We ask the courts to end the tactics on our places of worship, our schools, our courts, our marketplaces, our hospitals, and even funeral homes. The deployment of thousands of armed, masked DHS agents to Minnesota has done our state serious harm. This is, in essence, a federal invasion of the Twin Cities and Minnesota, and it must stop. DHS agents have sown chaos and terror across the metropolitan area and in cities across the state of Minnesota. Schools have gone onto lockdown. Entire districts have had to cancel school for tens of thousands of students to ensure safety and offer online education because of the students and the parents' fear of coming into the school. Local businesses are struggling. Revenues are down. And some retail stores, daycares, and restaurants have actually closed.
People haven't talked about this enough, how much it impacts their economy. Kristen, thank you so much. I appreciate you, Kristen. And not that, Dana, you're helping me stay grounded and saying thank you. No problem, Dana. That's one of the many reasons, right? And I'm glad that's happening for you. Look, no one talks about this enough, how much it impacts their local economy there. Like, no one wants to do business in that area when ICE is doing what they're doing. You can destroy communities this way. Understand, they know that. They do it on purpose.
Because people are afraid to go out and to do their shopping, whether they're immigrants or whether they are citizens of many generations. This surge has made us less safe. Thousands of poorly trained, aggressive, and armed agents of the state of the federal government have rolled into our communities, overwhelmed our local police departments, and law enforcement agencies should be focused on our public safety, but instead, many are dealing with the aftermath of DHS agents' chaos and violence. I want to thank our law enforcement officers for doing a tremendous job under very difficult circumstances. Not the people, but the federal government. Minneapolis police have had to respond to more than 20 ICE-related incidents, like witnesses seeking people being pulled into unmarked vehicles by men en masse, or ICE abandoning vehicles on the street with people detained inside. This is an unlawful commandeering of police resources. In just 2 days, responding to the chaos ICE has cost the city $2 billion in law enforcement and overtime expenses. 2 days. And I wish I could stop there, but I can't, because these poorly trained, aggressive, and armed agents of the federal state have terrorized Minnesota with widespread unlawful conduct. They're making unconstitutional arrests and using excessive force. DHS agents have barged into restaurants asking to access secure areas, and when asked to present a warrant, which is required by law, they respond, "We don't need one." DHS agents have arrested peaceful bystanders. They have fired chemical irritants at people obeying lawful orders while exercising their First Amendment rights. They have even done so at some of our most sensitive places, like Roosevelt High School here in Minneapolis. They have detained law-abiding citizens, leaving them handcuffed for hours, just because of the color of their skin, or what they're wearing, or they speak English with an accent. And on January 7th, 2026, a DHS agent shot and killed Renee Nicole Good, leaving her children without a mother and her 6-year-old son without either parent. This has to stop. So let's be clear. It never should have started. These agents have no good reason to be here. Minnesota's non-citizen immigrant population is just 1.5%, which is half the national average. Our state's percentage is lower than Utah, Texas, and Florida's, but none of those states have thousands of federal agents swarming their streets or harming their people. The administration says that they're focused on finding criminals. Worst of the worst, they say. But many of the people the DHS is arresting in Minnesota have no criminal history. That fits a pattern.
You're welcome to call in. Why don't you call in if you feel that way? That's why we have the phone number up there. So you can call in and tell me why you support what ICE is doing here. The fact that any of you would support this at this point is embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. It really is.
Call from
Dawn.
Yeah, are you a Trump supporter? Yeah, are you a Trump supporter?
I am.
You have to turn the echo off. What do you have some kind of echo on? You have to turn the echo off. What do you have? Is that my live stream? You got to turn that off.
It's my Magic Jack. I don't have the echo.
Is that my live stream? You got to turn that off.
It's off. Can you hear me okay? You can't hear me?
I can hear myself coming back through with the microphone. You're using Bluetooth or something? The deafening silence from the right on this matter speaks volumes. Trust me, power corrupts. They're not being silent. I spent all morning debating them. They're louder than ever, and they're wrong. They're twisting themselves into a pretzel to defend this. But there's no defending this. I'm sure that guy's going to call back in. He needs to stop his He's using Bluetooth, though. That's the problem. Let me turn the phone lines back on so he can call back in. Call back in, dude. I know. He said Magic Jack. Why is he using a Magic Jack? All right. He's able to call back in. It's on. Call back in.
Call from
Dawn.
Okay. What's up?
Can you hear me better now?
Yes. Now, I'm going to ask you
Sorry.
first, though. Have you debated me today on this at all?
No,
Okay.
absolutely not.
All right, because I don't want. There's guys that they debate me on TikTok and then they call back on YouTube and try and change their arguments slightly to do this, and I'm not doing that. So, if you haven't talked to me today,
No, I don't
go
even
ahead.
have TikTok.
All
I don't
right,
even
go
use
ahead.
TikTok.
Chevy, thank you for the
Yeah, I
five.
don't
Go
even
ahead.
use
All
TikTok.
right, you're
I
a
wish you guys wouldn't use it.
You're a Trump supporter, and how old are you?
55.
Okay, go ahead. What's up?
Is it okay to get rid of illegal immigrants who have broken the law, have not showed up for court, and it's time to just send them back? Is that ever a good idea?
Yeah, so I would say, like, when we're evaluating whether or not this either positively or negatively, like overall, benefits the community or the American people in this country, I would say it more negatively affects them than it does positively affect them.
So you're putting a dollar amount on it because, I mean, minimum is $9 billion that these Democrats have committed fraud. You know, they're calling the governor the fraud father over there. Do we know?
You don't know what the
lady that got
number
killed, it
in
was
fraud
tragic.
is yet. You don't know what the number of fraud is yet. But
No, that's the minimum.
well,
It's
let me
$9
just
billion. It could be-
establish. Let me
could be
just
up to 70
all right,
billion.
where are you getting that number from?
The General Accounting Office.
Okay, and they said what? The
It
General
also says
Accounting
that after
Office.
10 years.
Okay,
Have you
are
not
these
heard of the
cases that?
GAO?
Oh, excuse me. Are these cases that have already been prosecuted?
That's actually what I was going to ask you, because you guys keep saying
No.
that they're arresting people with no prior convictions. Are they arresting like so-called protesters or observers who are impeding federal officers? Because then it really wouldn't matter if they had an existing warrant. or
Wait, you're
arrest
arguing
warrant,
two different
right?
things. ICE doesn't enforce domestic law. They enforce civil immigration law. You know that, right? ICE has very limited authority when it comes to American citizens. They
Okay.
don't have jurisdiction over American citizens unless that American citizen is committing very specific
Right.
acts to interfere with their investigation, which that wasn't happening in this
Right,
most recent
exactly.
case where this
You're
woman
right.
was unalived. So they have very limited authority as federal agents to do anything to American citizens. American citizens don't need to obey a command from an ICE agent. They don't enforce the law. If an ICE agent says, hey, you're illegally parked, well, that's not for ICE to enforce that, right?
But is that what happened? Because it's my understanding, and you know, the facts keep changing.
No, I've never spoken to this
She was
guy.
on her way to work at first.
I've never spoken to this guy.
Do I?
I have not spoken to this guy on TikTok today.
Right.
No. Go ahead.
Well, I'm trying to be polite because it's your show, and I don't want to talk over you. It's
I
your
understand
show.
that, but you're arguing
Nice
two
enough
different
to take my
things.
call.
I understand, but you're arguing two different things, right?
Well,
so you said,
this-
is it
okay, so do you know
justified?
the-
Hold on.
the
First you
people-
said, is it justified to deport people who have warrants? Is it justified to deport? Well, I don't know what you mean specifically, but I think we need to look at and
That's
evaluate.
not what I said. I said warrants as well as being in the country illegally. Because, for instance, this Renee Good, do you know who they were trying to arrest when she interfered with the process? It was a guy named Mahad Abdul Qadir Youssef. He's illegal. He came over illegally. He was arrested. He has a prior conviction in 2016 for sexual assault. He's got an active
Oh, I
warrant
knew
at
they
the
were gonna do
time.
this.
They went after him. So I'm just wondering, is it ever okay to go after someone who has broken the law, who's here illegally, and send their sorry butts back to where they came from? Is that ever acceptable to you?
So
people?
first of all,
Ever. And
that
under
has
any condition.
who they were trying to arrest has nothing to do with whether or not the shooting that occurred was justified. Okay.
Why wouldn't
now,
it? They're
I'm
trying to
gonna
protect people
debunk
like
what.
this.
First of all, what you just said is not true. They were not focusing on one specific individual. Where did you get that from?
Who are they there for?
They're conducting.
You don't know why they were there.
Yes, I do. They already specified prior they were conducting a broader ICE raid, right? They weren't. There wasn't a specific undocumented immigrant that they were searching for. They were conducting a broad ICE operation in that area. Yana, thank you so much for the Cash App, Yana. They were conducting a broad immigration operation.
Renee had the legal right to interfere with that process?
Can you tell me how she interfered?
And Miss Good had the legal right to...
Keycat, thank you for the 5.
We saw it. Well, first of all, she had her damn dog in the car. Why are you gonna drive 5 hours when you got 3 kids at home? For 5 hours with your dog in the car, and they had been stalking those people. I saw the video of the dogs in the damn car.
So I mean, what?
Can we at least agree she wasn't very responsible?
What are you talking about?
I mean, you bring your damn dog, you got 3 kids at home? I'm talking about Renee Good. Did you
Renee Good lived in Minneapolis, Minnesota. She lived in the Powderhorn neighborhood of Minneapolis, Minnesota. What are you talking about? You don't know what you're talking about. She lived in Minneapolis.
Okay,
so what you're doing is you're falling victim to misinformation on the internet.
Either way, she should have left her dog at home.
Didn't you just say you were trying to be respectful? Didn't you just say you were trying to be respectful and not interrupt me? And here you are, because you're getting proven wrong, starting to interrupt me. Do you want to have a respectful conversation, or do you want me to hang up on you?
Sure. It's my bad.
So, Mel Funk, thank you for the Canadian $6.99. Appreciate you. And Keycat, thank you for the $5. I appreciate you. W. Christopher for the $49.99 super chat. Christopher in the chat. Thank you, Christopher. She lived in Minneapolis, Minnesota. They were conducting broader ICE operations. Any other misinformation you want to use to attempt to justify why she was killed? Her dog in the car. What are you talking about? How does that prove irresponsibility? She was in the car. She was in the car. Why is that irresponsible to have your dog with you? If anything, that shows that she was a good owner. She was attentive to her animal that she loved, and she took him with her in the vehicle. I don't understand. She never left the vehicle.
Well, she put her dog in risk when she tried to drive away. Her dog could have been shot, too.
She shouldn't have been shot, period. All right, let's talk about this. Do you know what objective reasonableness is?
I do. That's where a police officer has to put himself in the other police officer's shoes and ask himself, would I do the same thing? That's basically it.
And what are we questioning here in regards to objective reasonableness?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, okay? I think the guy could have moved out of the way without shooting her.
Guess what?
But
guess what? Hold on, there is no but.
He got a free pass.
There is no but.
He got a what?
But there is no but. Because the law specifically states, and so does ICE policy, that if there is an alternative method to avoid injury, if you can move out of the way, then the death is not justified. It's specifically in their policies.
So you think you think they'll acquit him is what you're saying?
Acquit? No, I think he would be convicted. Why? What leads you to believe I think he would be acquitted? The law states if there's another option available, it's not justified in discharging his firearm. He violated.
Yeah, but who's going to be able to prove that in his mind? How are you going to be able to prove that in his mind he didn't see another option? Because the car was directly in front of him.
No,
in
he
the
wasn't.
video, you can see she was revving the engine. When you rev an engine like that and then throw it in park, it's like a bullet.
No, so you're wrong. So the car, he wasn't directly in front of the car. He was by the front side panel by the headlight, right? He leaned into
all the videos, just like you.
Okay, and so he wasn't directly in front of it then. And you would also see the fact that every action she made was to the right, away from the officers who were on the left side of the vehicle.
Which that was her mistake. When the police or ICE, when anyone tells you to stop, you don't use your car as a weapon and try to get away. I mean, that's just, and it's not just me that's saying this. I watch tons and tons of YouTube videos, and there's all these minority, God bless them, great American minority black men and women who are saying, when the police tell you to stop, you have to stop.
Wrong.
And
so this isn't the police.
Very reckless.
Yeah, they're not the police, though. They're not the police. ICE's sole...
Well, they're a federal authority with a gun.
No. They're federal agents with a specific purpose of enforcing civil immigration law. What I wanted to explain to you, though, is that DOJ policy explicitly prohibits discharging firearms at a moving vehicle unless deadly force is threatened by other means, right? In this case,
That's if the moving vehicle.
excuse me, no. If the vehicle itself poses an imminent threat of death or serious injury with no reasonable alternative like moving out of the way. So if you're in a position where you cannot move out of the way, then it would be the only justified reason to discharge your firearm in those circumstances. You already conceded he clearly could have moved out of the way, which he did for the most part. It barely brushed him. He's a good actor, but luckily we had great patriots who filmed it from all different angles. You already conceded he could have moved out of the way. Well, according to DOJ policy, right, specifically, they are not to discharge their firearms at moving vehicles unless deadly force is threatened by other means or the vehicle poses an imminent threat of death or serious injury with no reasonable alternative like moving out of the way. Right? Firearms cannot be discharged at a moving vehicle, period. The person inside has to threaten deadly force, right? Or the vehicle is driven at the individuals in a way that threatens or they believe they're an imminent threat of
You
death.
just said the important part.
I already proved you
Yeah,
wrong.
it makes
dude.
perfect sense that if someone's driving away, you're not allowed to shoot them
No.
from the windshield and blow their brains out from behind.
Why?
But if they're coming straight at you, it's a different story.
No. She wasn't. We saw
It
that.
makes sense that you shouldn't be
You
allowed.
are, sir. I'm not sure what you don't
Yeah,
understand.
I saw it too.
You already conceded he could have moved out of the way. If he could move out of the way, if they are able to prove in court with ballistics testing that he could have moved out of the way, he will be convicted. He would be convicted in that case. If they can prove in court
Well, let me ask you
that
this.
and by the way, furthermore, I hope you know you already conceded, right? You lose the debate once you concede to that point. I just specifically pointed out the fact that he's in
You
violation of his
truncated
own
what I
policy.
said. You chopped off the last part of it.
Last part of what?
No,
Why,
of
this
what I
guy's
said
so
about
weird.
him moving out of the way.
You said, I think he could have easily moved out of the way. Those
Who?
were your exact words.
Yeah. That doesn't mean what he did was illegal. There's plenty
Yes,
of things
it
that
does.
are wrong and
Yes, it
immoral
does.
but are still perfectly legal.
You clearly don't understand justified use
Well,
of
let me
force.
ask you this.
They can't just shoot people because someone's
ask you a
driving.
question about
Excuse
this?
me. They cannot shoot someone because someone's driving away. You're not allowed to do that.
I know. That's what I just said.
Oh my God, this guy.
I said, but I also was trying to tell you that there's a difference between someone driving away and someone using the car to lunge towards somebody. But look, I just want to ask you a
But
question,
that's
okay? And I
not
don't
what
know the
she was
answer to this, that's why
doing,
I'm
which is
asking you.
why I pointed out the fact that her tire is moved to the right. Every action she took.
I saw the same video, pal.
Guy, would you
I
like
saw
me?
all the
Would you
same
like me
videos
to,
you did.
Would you like me to pull up the pictures right now? Her tire is pointed away from the officers.
No.
Stop talking for a second.
I saw that.
Shut up. The tire is pointed away. When she reverses, right, and then she puts the car in drive, she turns. You can see it in the video where he's filming it on his phone. She starts turning
I
away
saw it.
from. Guy, you can keep saying I saw it while I'm speaking. I'm just going to hang up on you and you won't say shit anymore. You want to do that? The point is,
Well, I'm not getting to talk anyway. I mean,
Shut
I don't like to
up.
think about it.
an aggressor doesn't turn away from the officer. An aggressor turns towards. All the officers are on the left side of the vehicle, which proves that she doesn't have any ill intent. Can you tell me how she was obstructing their investigation, please?
Can you tell me how you can make a right turn without your car going forward? It's not a zero-turn tractor she was in.
What?
When you turn, even though her wheels were turned to the right, when you push the gas, your car's going to go forward.
To
You
the
understand
right.
that, right?
It goes to the right. Have you ever driven a fucking car before?
It goes forward and to the right. There's no way you can turn
oh
a
my
car
God.
to the right without going forward.
Oh my God. Well,
It's
actually,
not a zero turn.
Do
Do you know what a zero turn
listen,
tractor is?
I can't believe you're this simple, but I'm trying to explain to you. It
I
proves
can't believe
the
that
intent.
you're allergic to logic. You like
Oh
to
my
dole it
God.
out, but then when it's put in
I
your
know.
face,
Listen,
you don't like
here
to
comes
look
the
at it.
steam rolling. I'm just going to hang up on you, right? You already conceded that he could have moved out of the way. Once you admit that there's an alternative method right? Rather than discharging his firearm, you lose the argument. You've already conceded. You just didn't realize.
How are they going to prove that?
What? What are you
How are they
saying?
going to prove that in his mind he didn't see that he needed?
I'm
What?
not trying to prove it here. I'm trying to prove you wrong. You already conceded it. I'm debating you right now. I'm trying to
Prove me wrong on this.
I already
Just
did.
tell me,
I already did prove you wrong. You admitted it.
Is it
You
possible to
conceded.
turn your car to the? Is it possible to make a right turn without your car going forward?
Is it possible to make a right
possible?
turn without your car? What are you talking about?
You keep saying that if she turns her car to the right, what I'm talking about, and just
My
please
God,
listen to
you're
me.
missing
Give me
the
10
point.
seconds
You're
here,
missing
okay?
the point.
That's all
Why
I'm
don't you
asking.
try and focus real quick for a second?
Can
Let's see if you can focus for a second. Just shut up and listen.
So you're not going to let
I'm
me talk.
bringing up turning to the right to
you know
prove
what?
that her
How about you
intent.
shut up? I think I'll just
Shut up,
disconnect
old
because
man.
what's the
Shut
point in
up, old
calling
man.
you? I
Shut
could
up,
listen to
old
you
man. Shut up, old man. Shut up, old man.
Wow.
Goofy ass troglodyte. Fuck out of here. You're not crashing out on me, old man. Bounce. You lost the debate, and this is when you guys start interrupting because you don't listen. You just stop listening to what I said. You lost, and then you try and do this whole thing. If the wheels are turned to the right, that means that her intent isn't to hit them. It has nothing to do with zero turn or whatever dumb shit you're arguing. The point is her intent is not to hit them. So you cannot discharge a firearm on a fleeing suspect when you've already conceded there was an alternative method, and that's stepping out of the way. This is not complicated. It's really not. Okay? I highly recommend that you look this stuff up. Let's see if we can get another person to call in here. This is what they do every time they call in. They think they're fucking smart, and they argue the dumbest shit. And it's like, that's not zero turn. What are you talking about? It's not what we're talking about. No one's saying whatever you're trying to argue. I'm simply debunking the idea that she was trying to hurt them. She was not trying to hurt them. She was trying to steer away from them. You don't steer away from someone you're trying to hurt. Okay? You just don't.
Call from.
Yes. Are you a Trump supporter?
I think it's going okay.
I don't know what that answers. What'd you say?
I think it's going all right. So I want to talk about the turning the wheel to the right.
Can you tell me how you feel about
The
this
guy that
case,
got
please?
hit.
You didn't get hit.
You think that he saw that happen?
No, that's not what, it doesn't have anything to do with what I'm arguing. Don't try and pick up for the last troglodyte if you are, because you clearly didn't watch the entire conversation. Tell me what your take is on this
he's
situation.
probably right too. I don't care about how he argued it.
He's
do you
wrong.
think the guy that got hit?
He already
the police
conceded. Hey,
shot
stupid.
Renee
Hey, stupid.
Do you
I know you
think
think he's
that
right. Hey, stupid.
saw
Hey, stupid. Hey,
her
stupid.
turn the wheel?
Shut up. Shut the fuck up. I'm talking. Shut the fuck up.
Give
Do you
your
hear
argument.
me fucking talking? Shut the
I'll
fuck
let you
up.
give your
Shut the
argument,
fuck
but
up.
respond
Shut the
to what I
fuck up.
said.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. God damn.
You're crashing out, dude.
You're a goofball. I'm tired of you morons. He conceded already that the officer could have stepped out of the way. If
Did
the
the guy see her turn the wheel?
Again, I'm just not arguing with troglodytes. I'm just not. Could he see her turn the wheel? I'm bringing up the wheel to debunk the idea that he was trying to hit her, which is hit the officer, which is the statement the guy was making. You fucking troglodyte. Holy shit. I mean, this isn't complicated. No way. Did the officer see the wheel? God, they're so simple. It's fucking painful. Really, it is.
Call from.
Excellent.
Yes, are you a Trump supporter?
Not really, but yeah. See, look.
No.
ICE
Hold
a
on.
federal agency?
First of all,
Answer
not
yes or no.
real.
Is ICE a federal agency? If ICE is a federal agency, they have immunity the same way as the cops. They're a federal agency. They're cops.
You
If
think
get a
they have
rightful,
absolute
lawful
immunity?
Order from the cops.
You think they have
have to
absolute
listen.
immunity?
Yes, it's actually been proven on.
Okay.
You ain't watching on the
All right,
news.
why
The
don't you do
government
this
said
real
they have
quick?
immunity.
Hey, I got an idea. Let's do this.
They have immunity.
Let's do this in front of everyone right now. So I want you to go to Google, right? And I want you to read out loud. And if you don't do it, I'll just do it in front of everyone. Why don't you go to Google and type out, do ICE agents have absolute immunity? And I want you to read it out loud for me, okay? We'll do it live together for everyone. Go to Google and type, do ICE agents, I'm doing it with you, have absolute immunity? Okay, and now we click it. And what does it say? Can you read it out loud for the class, or do I have to?
No, experts say, but it is not easy for. Let's finish reading. This is CNN. I clicked on the link. It is not. Easy
What does
for a
it
state
say
to
about
prosecute.
absolute immunity?
Honestly, it's not giving me a right or
No.
wrong, yes or no on
Here, I'll read it. I'll read it.
It's saying
I'll
that they
read it.
can't be
I'll read it.
prosecuted.
I'll read it. No,
You want the
ICE
definition
agents
of
do
something
not.
different.
Hold on, I'm going to read it right now, okay? No, ICE
They're a
agents
federal
do not.
agency.
Guy, listen, I'm not going to
They're
argue.
a federal agency. They're
I'm not
cops.
going to argue with you.
And if they're
Them being
cops,
a
they give
federal
you a lawful
agency.
order,
Listen,
but
them
it's
being a
lawful
federal.
order for them the same way as a cop.
Are
They
you
say
gonna
you
stop
step out the
talking?
vehicle, you step out the vehicle, am I
Are
right?
you going to stop talking? Okay.
Sure.
I'm not going to argue with
Right.
you about whether or not ICE agents have absolute immunity. Anyone in here can go look it up and see this guy is wrong. They do not have absolute immunity. He's getting that from something J.D. Vance said the other day, which he was incorrect. They have qualified immunity. I can guarantee you don't know the difference. Okay?
Well, either way, they have immunity.
No, that's not what that means.
Which is
You
soon to
don't
be
know what.
absolute immunity.
All right, tell me tell me the difference between qualified and absolute immunity.
Either way, it's immunity. I really don't care.
No, it's
Immunity.
not. Tell me what is the difference between absolute and qualified immunity, please.
Either way, immunity is immunity.
No, it's
That's how I'm
not.
looking
That's
at it.
why you don't
They're
know that.
If they give you a lawful
No,
order,
it's
you have
not
immunity.
the same thing. What is the difference between qualified and absolute immunity?
I just told you. I don't know, but it sounds like immunity to me. So why don't you give us the definition?
You hear this shit, guys? It sounds like immunity to me.
Give me the definition. I just told you. I'm not going to sit here and lie.
Okay,
I don't
I'll
know.
explain
Tell
it.
me the
I'll explain to you.
definition of
Ready?
Qualified,
Qualified immunity only offers partial protection, right? Like from lawsuits.
So they have partial protection for what they do. They still protect it.
No. It's specifically for lawsuits unless they clearly violated well-established rights, constitutional rights, that any reasonable person would recognize. Absolute immunity means what you were originally arguing: complete, unconditional immunity, regardless of the violation. That absolute immunity is reserved for like judges and prosecutors and legislators. It's not for ICE, you goofball. They do not have absolute
So for
immunity.
police officers,
Do you
federal
realize how
agents.
police officers have qualified immunity, not absolute immunity? They have
They still have immunity.
qualified. No, it's
They got
not
immunity from
immunity.
shootings.
It's
They got immunity from
qualified. Oh my God.
They still,
Guys, this is
All right, so let me
fucking
ask you one more
painful.
question, right?
This is
Prior
literally,
to-
guys, this is
prior to
literally,
Renee
no,
Good being
you're
shot.
asking me no more questions
prior
unless
to Renee Good being shot, how many black people have
you
got
are
shot
not
and from fleeing
asking
in
me.
cars?
All right, have a good day. Have a good day, buddy. Goodbye. You're not going to steamroll. I'm not interested in that tonight. I will just hang up the minute you won't admit you're wrong. It's that easy. Chevy, thank you for the $5 super chat. This guy's telling me they have absolute immunity. I tell him, no, they have qualified immunity. It's totally different. Well, sounds like immunity to me. Millie, thank you for becoming a tadpole, Millie. Appreciate you. Is this frustrating or what? Like, is this frustrating or what, folks? Like, sounds like immunity to me. Oh, my God. And people wonder why I fucking flipped out about that when J.D. Vance called it absolute immunity. Because guys like that believe it to be true. They automatically assume, yeah, J.D. Vance said it, so it must be true. I don't know what you keep writing, intent does not matter. I'm not sure what you're referring to when you say intent doesn't matter. No one's arguing anything about intent. We're simply arguing that she was not trying to hit the officers because that's what the guest said, you goof. As he conceded very clearly, that first guest that got destroyed in 2 minutes, right? That if there is a reasonable alternative, okay, specifically in their policy, it states that you can't discharge a firearm at a moving vehicle unless deadly force is threatened by other means or the vehicle itself poses an imminent threat of death. With no reasonable alternative, such as moving out of the way. If you can move out of the way of a vehicle, if a vehicle's driving, let's say a vehicle's driving 1 mile per hour, okay? Let's see someone is driving down the street and there are police officers in the road and they're driving 1 mile per hour. Do those officers have a legal justification to kill that person driving that vehicle? No. Right? They would be charged, right? Well, why? They're driving a vehicle towards the officer because there's an expectation that they would be able to move out of the way. What's your are you a Trump supporter?
I'm a Republican. I wouldn't say so much that I'm a Trump supporter.
Vader, you're absolutely wrong. In fact, you have no idea what you're talking about. So now we're just going to silence you, right? That's what we do with people who aren't very smart. So who did you vote for, dude?
What?
Who did you vote for?
I voted for Trump.
Then you're a Trump supporter. So go ahead.
Go ahead with what? I'm
Didn't you call
calling
me?
in about as far as just seeing two different. Yeah, I'm calling to see the two different side of views when it came to this whole incident that happened.
Yeah, my view is pretty simple, right? And I would refer to a number of different facts. First, let's start. Let me start with first. What's your opinion? I'm sure you have an opinion about this. You don't have to go into detail, and I'll give you my take on it. But what is your opinion on this?
I think that it was an extremely unfortunate thing that happened. A child is lost without its mother, but in the eyes of the officer, he only had about a second to think, and whether people want to agree with it or not, a vehicle struck him, and that is a life-threatening thing. But the sad part is, like I said, a mother or a child is left without its mother.
So first of all, he wasn't directly in front of the vehicle, right? He was to the front left side panel. I think we need to go over a number of different things in order to establish he's wrong here. First of all, the vehicle didn't pose an imminent deadly threat. Everyone's seen the videos of the car moving slowly forward. The car doesn't start speeding up until he fires the first shot. The body goes limp. One of the reasons that they... Are you going to start talking when I'm talking? One of the reasons that they don't train, why they train officers not to discharge their firearm at moving vehicles, it's pretty common sense. Why do you think it is? Because it doesn't stop the vehicle. If you shoot at the driver and kill the driver, the vehicle doesn't suddenly come to a stop. In fact, it often accelerates, right? The body goes stiff. The foot's on the pedal. It pushes forward, which is exactly what happened in this circumstance. So I would start with the fact that clearly from the footage, He's on the front left side panel by the headlight. The vehicle is not posing an imminent deadly threat, and according to DOJ policy, they explicitly prohibit discharging firearms at a moving vehicle unless deadly force is threatened by other means, or the vehicle itself poses an imminent threat of death or serious injury with no reasonable alternative, like moving out of the way. I think that he had poor tactical positioning. I talked about this earlier today. He's circled in the front of the vehicle. That goes against his ICE training, which specifically tells him not to approach the front of a vehicle that's running, right? So he unnecessarily placed himself in harm's way because he was filming a video. And it's important to recognize this. The first person POV of the officer, of him on the phone, he's on the phone because the administration instructed ICE officers to start filming their interactions with protesters. The administration gave them an order to start filming angry people, angry Americans who believe what these people are doing is unconstitutional. Do you think that's fucked up, folks? Do you think that these ICE agents should be unnecessarily escalating these situations by pulling out their cell phones? I think that proves right there they're not using their de-escalation techniques, which I think we should talk about here, right? Their failure to de-escalate the situation. You could hear her say, "That's all right, dude. I'm not mad at you," right? "I'm not mad at you." She said that to the officer that was circling the vehicle, right? "I'm not even mad at you." No shots were fired until after the agents were trying to rip open her door handle, saying, "Get the F out of the vehicle," right? "Get the F out of the vehicle." She was legally observing at the time. They had no authorization to try and rip her out of the vehicle. I'm not done. Do you want me to give you all the reasons or not?
Well, no, absolutely. But on that topic, may I just say one little side note when it comes to that?
Go ahead.
The problem is, though, a lawful order was given. Whether people want to say ICE are real cops or not,
they aren't.
They're still federal agents.
No,
if you're given a lawful order,
not true.
I do. It's the same reason why they say that ICE agents.
That is not true.
It is, and
they
it's also
don't
the
have
same
jurisdiction.
reason why they even post.
So
but they
ICE,
do in certain circumstances.
Only limited
and
circumstances
when it comes
where
to the whole.
Limited circumstances where, let's say, someone was obstructing an ongoing investigation. That wasn't happening in this case. ICE cannot just walk up to American citizens and order them to do things because they're federal agents. They're supposed to be focusing on enforcing civil immigration law.
But she was obstructing.
Can you tell
there
me
was
how?
multiple cameras and video stuff showing that she had parked there way prior and parked across the street, had her wife or her partner get out of the car to start filming. She was there to impede investigation.
Yeah, we saw it. So actually, she wasn't. So if you actually watch all the videos, including the several minutes now that have been released beforehand, I counted in that 2 minutes 7 cars passed by. If she was obstructing justice, can you tell me how the agent got his vehicle to the other side of her car?
But did you?
Answer my question. Answer my question. If she is,
but did you see how those cars?
Stop talking.
I am.
Stop talking. Stop talking. Stop
talking. Are
talking.
you going to let me answer?
Stop.
No.
Talking.
Are you going to let me answer?
No. I want to clarify my question because you didn't answer the first time I asked you. So now I have to ask it again to make sure you understand the question.
I'll answer it right now, but you're not allowing me to.
Stop talking. You're arguing that she was obstructing by impeding their ability to travel. How did that SUV get on the other side of her car if she was impeding their ability to travel?
Because if you also watch the video, he had to drive on the sidewalk to go around the vehicle. The same with those other 7 vehicles. They had to go partially onto a sidewalk.
No, it's not the sidewalk. You don't know.
Would you like to re-look at that video and look behind the vehicle where that car?
In fact, let me do it right now, guys. Hold on. Let me pull it up right now. I'm going to show you guys right now, just to embarrass this dude in front of everyone. I'm going to show you several cars pass by with no problem. And then I can even show you her waving them forward. Go ahead. She waved the car before the Titan, and she waved the Titan, which the ICE agents were in, forward. You can literally hear her on the video. This is how I know you're not educated on this or equipped to have this conversation with me. She quite literally says in the video, go ahead. She's waving them on out the window. That's how fucking wrong you are.
So then
but
what,
I expect it from somebody like you.
So then what is she doing other than impeding if she is parked horizontally in the middle of the road?
So wait, first of all, she's not even taking you. Wait. You're moving the goalpost. First, you said she was impeding their ability to travel. Now you're saying she was parked partially in the road. If she's parked partially in the road, she's not. Excuse me.
It's not even the partially. She is parked sideways, smack dab in the middle of the road.
No, she isn't smack
dab.
So
again,
she
how
is
is that not impeding? What is
she is not
as to
smack
why she
dab
is
in the middle
like
of the
that?
road, liar. She is not in the middle of the road.
She
is not in the middle of
even
the
if you're
road.
to say 25.
All right, I'm playing the
even if
video.
you're to say 25
I'm playing the
to
video.
There's
35%.
Renee Good's
Watch
car
it.
right there. This is the
Turn
video
on my live
moments
stream and
before
shut
this
your mouth.
happened. Let's take a look really quick and see if there was chaos like they claimed.
He ran
before everything happened.
He ran.
Now they are honking their horns.
Take a listen, everyone.
There's no law against that, right? There's no law against honking your horn. So you're going to see a bunch of cars start traveling here, and they pass her with no problem. It proves she's not blocking the roadway. People can travel freely. Through this video footage, I don't see any car stuck in the snow, so I don't know where exactly that part comes from. But here's the cars traveling with no problem right by Renee's vehicle, because clearly she was not blocking them. There's another car right there, travels right by with no problem. I mean, that's all that was happening. Horns were being honked. That's about it.
Of course he ran. So guys, let me explain this, right? What this guy doesn't understand is there's a bike lane, right? He thinks it's the middle of the road because he doesn't understand. He has no idea what he's talking about. First of all, that's a bike lane that she's in. Like, you see the bike lane coming out. She's in the bike lane. She's not even covering half of the road. Literally not even half. But furthermore, she's waving them forward. This is embarrassing for you Trump supporters. Desperately, this guy calls and says he just wants to hear the opposite side's opinion. But he's not really interested in the opposite side's opinion. And listen, this is not like typical debate topics, right? This is a woman's life. And one thing I'm not going to allow is Trump supporters to come up here and spew their bullshit.
Call from
Victor.
Yes. Are you a Trump supporter?
Unfortunately, I voted for him, but I normally vote for Democrats. And I do regret what's happening.
Thanks for fucking up our country. What's up?
No, sorry for that. I didn't know. This was going to happen, but I'm looking at your stream, and I'm happy that you're doing this. Like I say, I normally vote for Democrats.
Can you give me your opinion on this?
My opinion is I agree with you 100%. I live here in Minneapolis, or close to Minneapolis. And lawful orders. How can you call a lawful order when somebody doesn't even have?
So this is what these guys don't understand, right? ICE can't walk up to American citizens and just order them to do something because they're federal agents. ICE has no jurisdiction over the American people whatsoever. They only have any authority to do anything with the American people in very limited circumstances. ICE enforces immigration law.
Yep.
They are not there to enforce traffic violations. So all that MAGA has established at this point is that she was parked partially in the road. You cannot prove to me she was impeding their ability to travel, which is what that guy was trying to say. That's just not true. And if you go watch the video, you can very clearly see her wave them on.
I know the video. I know the roads in Minneapolis. Many people don't understand the way, and that's what I see. I work on the streets, okay? so they don't know our infrastructure, so they don't understand how the roads work here.
Right. Let
He
me
was not impeding traffic by any means.
right. Let me play this video for everybody. Thanks for calling in, buddy. I hope you do better and never vote for these people again. Thanks, appreciate it.
No, I would never.
All right, take care, man.
Thank you.
All right, so let me play this really quick. Hopefully this is a video that will establish it. It's not my content, so. But let's just see. Let's hope this video establishes what I'm talking about. You can actually see Renee's arm waving them forward in this video here. You can actually see her arm out the window waving them on. If you're obstructing, you're not waving cars on. Okay? Under no circumstances are you waving them on. It just doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. The facts are there. The facts are there. She was in the road in one of the lanes. She was not in the middle of the road, as the guy stated, and she waved them on. So cool. That's a traffic violation that needs to be enforced by local law enforcement. Are you a Trump supporter?
Absolutely not. No.
You have crazy background noise. But what's up?
Oh, okay. Well, I liked your show. It's my first time watching, but yeah, I'm an attorney, so I didn't know if I moderate a Trump Discord and a relatively big Trump YouTube channel, so I don't really get to interact with my own people all that often because of what I do. But I just wanted to say, man, I love your content, and yeah, I don't know if you've talked to any. I'm a criminal defense lawyer, and this isn't a close call at all.
I agree. Yeah.
And from my perspective, the cell phone video only makes it look worse, particularly because he doesn't drop the camera, all that stuff. It's just there's got to be accountability at the next administration. I think a non-starter would be somebody not agreeing to hold people accountable in this regime. It's insane.
I agree 100%. And it's funny because he's a good actor. He really tried to make it seem like he was hit there, that specific part. I think, if let's just say the cell phone video by itself, I mean, they would probably, because it's not super clear at that point. Like the video kind of goes up, it's hard to see exactly his position and everything. But thank God we have like 8 other angles that prove the point. I think it's clear. He leaned towards the vehicle. He didn't feel there was an imminent threat. Every motion every action she's taking is away from those officers, turning the wheel when she goes in reverse, she's definitely not the aggressor here at all. And there's no way to paint her as the aggressor. So, I don't know why they're just doing this like they do with everything else, dude, whether it's this or January 6th or anything else, right? They did the same gaslighting.
They're postmodernists.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, part of the problem, though, and it's why I'm glad there are people like you online doing this, is like they're repeating this line that the guy got 33 stitches. He got 33 stitches from a previous incident, but they they listen to their dear leader, and they just repeat things until they become reality. Like they're talking the stream that I'm a moderator for on YouTube. It's a big mega one, relatively big. Like the whole line, the meme is that, oh, she's smiling at him. Like, no, she's smiling, and then she's saying, what does she say? She says, I'm not mad at you.
Right.
Like, people are not, like, she didn't Okay, first of all, I think people should be prepared to get executed if they're interacting with these people. So from that perspective, I think she was probably being naive. I'm not like chastising her, but like I think you should be prepared to be executed when you're dealing with these people. But in her mindset, she's smiling like, dude, I'm not even mad at you, man. Then she's gonna leave. Like it's it's so beyond the pale right now.
Well, I want to say this.
I don't know, man. You guys, they're like the only people.
So let me just say something really quick about that 33 stitches comment, because this is really important. That was brought up by J.D. Vance in probably the most inflammatory press conference I've ever seen by a vice president, I think probably ever. And he brought that up, but it's very important to listen to what he said, right? He said, do you think he's a little bit sensitive? Why would you have to bring up his sensitivity to working in as an ICE officer in this situation when trying to justify her death? Why would you have to bring it up if it's clear cut? Why are you mentioning he was sensitive? I mean, that kind of proves the point. Are you bringing up another case? Are you saying his trauma from another case, right, affected his decision making in this case? Right. Why would you bring that up if the case is so clear cut?
Legally, that goes to objectively, was he in fear? That literally legally goes to object. So no, like you're hiring. I mean, we all know who they're hiring to be these ICE agents. They're getting literal, like in a lot of cases, not hyperbole. They're getting Nazi freaks. They're getting freaks. You know, so that only adds to it. But like. The thing that, and I'll stop. I won't monopolize your time, man. I called to say I appreciate it. But you know what I've been saying, because the channel that I moderate, because I don't know, I like to debate, I guess, and that's my motivation for doing it. But like the thing, like with this, or not to go off on a different subject, but with like Venezuela agreement, whatever, it's like I asked the MAGA people, like, why are you guys even going through this motion? Like your position, your unofficial but increasingly official position. We're in power. We're going to do what we want. So why are you even like doing this silly little thing? You don't care if it's justified. Like you don't care. You don't care about the Constitution. Just say your official position. Like
Dude,
just say what it is.
I literally keep on
doing what you're doing because there's nothing else.
I just went off on a rant about this the other day. I would respect it so much more if they just fucking said it. You're not gonna convince me, right? You're not going to convince me. Just admit it. Just stop pretending that you're the good guy, that you care about the law. Just admit you're lawless and you don't give a fuck about a lawless government. You don't care. Just admit it.
Yeah, it's literally might versus right. And I think the reason, like, for me, the reason that's important is because, A, like, yeah, to be honest, but B, like, I don't want any of these people when, if we get back to something that is an acceptable society, I don't want these people to have jobs in the media. I want them to be like, I don't want them to have jobs where they're considered legitimate, I don't want them to have their cake and eat it too. Like media people, I don't want the, politicians, whatever. Like, I don't want them, you can, be the rat on the ship and go down the ship. Like, don't preserve your opportunity to be a legitimate person, because you're not. You're a freak, and you're a charlatan, and you're a wolf in sheep's clothing, and you should be branded with what you are. That's so, man, honestly, dude, I've been, again, I'm in the MAGA world all the time. But when I see people like you holding people to the fire and not allowing their insanity to breathe, it honestly, man. And again, I'm a lawyer. I interact with this crap all the time. I have clients that are like lacking in hope, and sometimes I am. But honestly, when I see people like you, like, I'm assuming you do it night after night, it does give me hope, man, because sometimes I feel like I'm the only one, like in my little MAGA world that I'm in, like, dealing with people that are just gaslighting.
I understand.
Everybody.
When you get stuck in that, when you're around that type of crowd, it can almost drive you insane. You almost start to question. It's why I like communities even more important. Communities that are built as a result of that type of content for people that don't agree with these people, right, and refuse to be gaslit by these people, to remind them they're not crazy. That's really what it is. It's a reminder, hey, I am correct. I actually do this more on TikTok than I do here. I debate on I have a much bigger platform on TikTok. I just started over here recently. But I appreciate you calling in, dude. Thanks so much. If you're on TikTok, you can follow me. It's the same name on TikTok. Yeah, follow me over there.
Yeah, I had somebody stalking me there, so I got rid of I was doing a lawsuit with somebody, and they started stalking me, so I left it. But it's been a little while. But hey, the last thing that I would say is, yeah, the guy that I moderate for, he's always looking for debate opponents, and to be honest, I would love to see you debate him because I think you'd dismantle him. But I don't know, maybe I could private message you if you ever have an interest in that.
Yeah, sounds
but
good.
I think it's important for
well,
people.
If you're on Instagram, you can do that.
Yeah.
It's in the link in my bio. So thanks, man. Take care.
I'll make sure. I think you do. Yeah,
All right,
awesome, dude. Well, thank you so much, man.
Take care,
Take it
buddy.
easy.
Take care. All right, let's see if there was a guy that was calling in before. I think it was one of the previous guys here that was trying to call in before. I could see if that guy would try and call in. No, I actually understood what that guy was saying. Like, here's the thing, right? And I'll say this, right? I've been in. This is the guy. Hold on.
Call from
Christopher.
Who's this?
This is Chris. What's up, man?
What's up? Are you a Trump supporter?
Since 2015. 100%. Still.
Nice. Are you on Bluetooth right now?
I'm in my truck, but I can pick up the phone.
Yeah, I'd rather you pick it
Hold
up.
on.
It sounds like you're far away.
Is that better?
Yeah.
How's
but
that better?
What's all the background? Eliminate the All right, go ahead. You're good. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm driving my truck right now. I'm a Teamster, bro. I work for a living, and I'm Trump since 15. I love it.
Yeah. So, like, do you guys see how this
I have
guy
no problem
said,
with what that officer did.
Of course you don't. So, guys, do you see how this guy said, I'm Trump since 2015? He didn't say, I voted for Trump. Part of the reason, and we were talking about this with
You got to listen. I said I'm a Trump
Can
supporter
I finish
since
speaking,
2015.
please? Can I finish speaking? No, you said I'm Trump. Literally, that's what you said. But can I just please speak without being interrupted? I'm okay with having a conversation with you, but you can't interrupt me. Okay, I have to talk to my chat too, and I have to. So, just important to recognize,
Fine,
right?
go ahead.
Like we have these conversations
ahead.
about why these guys twist themselves into pretzels, right? Constantly, and they do this. They've made him their entire identity. Anytime Trump fails,
That's
they
not
feel
true.
like they failed. So, can you tell me why do you support this? What this officer did? Do you think it was justified to take this woman's life?
I think she put herself in that situation, and there's consequences for doing stupid things.
There's consequences.
What was she doing there?
What did she do?
What was she doing there?
What was she doing?
What was she doing there?
Lawfully observing a broader ICE operation. That's exactly what she was doing.
Okay, so when you start doing things like that, there could be consequences to it.
Oh,
like
really?
If you start messing. Yes, of course. What do you mean? Oh, really? Of course.
So
There's
what you're telling me
consequences
is
to everything you do in
I
life.
can be killed for exercising my constitutional right to lawfully observe law enforcement. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, I am saying that. 'Cause
Wow,
that's reality.
folks.
I don't live in fantasy.
Wow. So
Have you heard of Ruby Ridge? Have you heard of Waco, Texas? What do you think that was? That was the U.S. government killing American citizens, bro. This
Wait,
shit's been going on forever. What are you
does this
talking about?
Wait. First of all, those are not even close to the same thing. Waco was an
They're not?
No, Waco was an ATF case where a cult
FBI, ATF, right.
It was the ATF.
Oh,
and a
were they American citizens, women and children who are burned?
Ramble. You have to stop talking. If I'm speaking, don't speak.
Well, you have to answer my question.
I'm trying, but you have to stop talking. I'm responding to what you said. Let me speak. Thank you. I know you guys were raised, obviously, like shit, and that's why you can't have a decent conversation.
Here we go.
Let
Blah,
me
blah,
speak.
blah. Answer the question.
So
Go ahead.
This is a false equivalency. Waco specifically was an ATF case where a church cult/cult was in possession of firearms, and the leader of that church/cult was essaying young girls and marrying them. Ruby Ridge was an entirely separate circumstance, but certainly not equivalent to what happened to Renee Good. She was lawfully observing. By the way, I'm not justifying law enforcement's tactics during Ruby Ridge either. I'm simply stating it's a false equivalency and not applicable, right, in this conversation. We're talking about whether or not this is justified. Now, are you saying that it's you said I have no problem with it, right? Do you stand by that? Because now you're arguing, yeah, the government is tyrannical, right? And they do these things, which, I mean, I'm wondering where the "don't tread on me" crowd went. They seem to have disappeared. But are you saying you support what this police officer did, right? Or are you saying the government is tyrannical? What's your argument specifically?
I'm saying that both are true. I support what the officer did because I wasn't standing in front of the car when the woman hit the accelerator towards me. So I give him all the leeway in the world because he's the one standing in front of the car dealing with these people on the street who are constantly harassing them. For what reason? I don't know. They're enforcing federal law. What do you mean? That's what they do. They're blowing whistles. That's not harassment?
What law?
That's not
what laws are they enforcing?
Immigration law.
Right. And
illegal people in this country.
Good and
do you know how many illegals are in America?
Can you shut
How many
up
illegals are in America right now?
Stop talking.
No, answer my question. How many illegals are in America?
Watch this. See how easy it is to just kick you? It's that easy. I don't need to listen to you yap. Right? I know you're not very smart. By our short conversation, I can tell that you're a dimwit. Okay? So I'm not going to scream over how many undocumented immigrants are in the country. We're talking about Renee Good. Renee Good's an American citizen. So I don't know what the relevance is, but see how easy it is to keep you quiet. I just kick you, right? I don't know. These guys call and they think that they can just, start screaming and talking over me and shouting questions. Like that's not how this works. If you'd like to call and defend this and have it back and forth, you can. But you know why they're crashing out, folks? They're crashing out because they can't argue with me. They can't debate this with me. If they do, if they have a back and forth, they get fucking destroyed.
Reed.
Are you a Trump supporter?
Hey, man. How's it going? Yes, I am.
Not great, dude. Not great. Okay, so what are your
thoughts? That was a rough call there.
Well, he's an idiot. What do you expect? So do you know my position or no?
Look.
Do you know my position?
I've only watched you for the last few minutes, but I can imagine your position a bit.
No, I don't think you can. Do you know specifically? I mean, obviously surface level, I'm not going to support what the officer did, right? But do you know why I point that? Do you know why I say that? Like what specifically my argument is?
No, but to be fair, I don't agree with your last caller either.
Do you agree with? Here's the thing. This I've said this multiple times. This shouldn't be a political issue. It shouldn't be about party affiliation. It's about right and wrong. It's just about right and wrong.
Yes.
It's about whether or not you guys are okay with immigration, customs enforcement, murdering an American citizen. And I don't think people realize how much this decision, right, could alter history, right? Like, I really believe, like, how the public responds to this could potentially affect or change the trajectory of how law enforcement is conducted in the future. I think it's that serious of a situation. And I think with ICE in particular, the way that they conduct mass deportation over the next several years. There's been an escalation over the last couple months. You're seeing ICE walk up to American citizens. I'm pretty involved in activism, and I know a lot of people that have directly engaged with ICE. I myself personally have protested against ICE, and ICE walks up to people now and tells American citizens who are lawfully, constitutionally observing, right, that they can't do that. We're seeing ICE rip the phones out of people's hands. We're seeing them overstep their authority, right? So this shouldn't be political. It should be the American people standing up and saying, "Hey, this is a police state, right? This is lawlessness, and we can't support this regardless of what politician we support."
Yeah.
But I can give you a detailed argument as to why I don't support the officer's actions in particular, if you'd like.
Well, I don't either, but I am curious. I haven't seen those videos of ISIS approaching random people. I am curious. I don't know what they were doing on that street. I assume that they were pursuing an actual person with a warrant. Those are the things that I've been aware of.
So,
but I don't know why.
Well, why is ICE in that neighborhood? You mean ICE is just conducting broader, like, operations? That's basically what they're doing right now. There isn't. They're conducting a broader raid, which is what they say everywhere, right? They're not necessarily trying to arrest a specific person at that moment, and they've not said as such. It's just broader. It's just a broader. They're just conducting a broader ICE raid.
I didn't know everything I've seen. I thought they were conducting a targeted raid.
No, multi-day, citywide immigration sweep. There was not a single suspect. Now they might try and claim there was now, like after the fact, and say I'm sure they're going to try and claim that they were trying to catch a pedophile or something to make it seem like they were trying to get this dangerous pedophile off the street, and Renee Good was trying to protect the pedophile. I'm sure they're going to come up with a story now, but I can tell you that prior to that, they were only conducting broader ICE operations. And I know people in Minnesota right now.
I don't know.
There's no truth to it.
We don't know that, because in a lot of the situations, the things that ICE has been doing lately, they are generally speaking pursuing a warrant. Because
no, it's not true.
Here's the thing.
That's not true. What you just said is not true.
Hold on. No, it is kind of true.
No, it isn't.
No, give me 1 second here. Give me 1 second.
God.
Look, I don't know and you don't know. I don't think we have the facts about the Minnesota case. But here's the deal. Just give me a second, man. You've got a show to have dialogue.
Don't say things that aren't true to my audience, period.
I'm not saying things that aren't true. No, I don't think those facts are out there. I don't think anyone's come forward from the administration and said this is specifically what ICE was doing on that street on that day.
Well,
if they have,
again,
I just don't know it. And
they weren't just on one street. They've been citywide, and they recently escalated their immigration operations, right, as a result of the fraud.
Look, here's the deal. I got you. I'm not 100% in favor. I'm not in favor of as strong as this administration is going after immigration. But the point is, with this lady, is that should she have been killed? No, she shouldn't have been killed. Would I have liked the guy to just step out of the way? Yes, I would have preferred that. But she's there. She set out to aggravate.
Oh, really?
Antagonize. She set out to antagonize. She set out to antagonize ICE that day. If you're going to antagonize armed law enforcement officers, you are taking a big risk. And if you end up getting shot because of it, it's kind of on you. Okay. That, I think, is the major point.
Can you tell me really quick, what does antagonize mean? Do you know?
Antagonize? Yeah. So specifically trying to, I mean, she was literally shouting at them, smiling at them, making snide comments, parking her seat.
She was shouting at them?
Yeah, her and her, well, it was more maybe talking about her wife.
Wait a second. Now you're applying something her wife said to her?
Yeah, her wife was in the was behind the car, and she made snide comments to the ICE officer.
What does that have to do with Renee dying? How was Renee? Excuse me. Renee Good died.
The couple.
How was Renee? Stop saying the couple. Renee Good died. How was Renee Good being hostile towards ICE?
She parked her car in the middle of the street, perpendicular. She was trying to obstruct a law enforcement operation. That was her entire purpose.
It wasn't in the middle of the street. I just played the video. I just played the video. It wasn't in the middle. I just showed this 5 minutes ago when a caller argued the same thing. First of all, was she impeding their ability to travel? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
So if she was
If you're
impeding their
perpendicular in a
ability,
street,
excuse me, if she was impeding, you should have watched me longer because I just destroyed a caller on this same argument about 20 minutes ago. If she was impeding their ability to travel, and clearly you haven't watched all the videos because this part's already been debunked, okay? Right? So when they released the minutes before, right, and leading up to, you can see Renee
someone
actually,
drove in front of her. I
excuse me,
understand that they could get
excuse
by.
me,
I
excuse
understand
me,
that they
you
could get
told
by.
me to
I
stop
get it.
talking, and now
Dude,
you're yapping over me. You see this? Once we start to get
you
to the
don't give a
point,
guy a chance.
you're interrupting me, dummy. You told me not to interrupt you, so I waited for you to make your point. Now I'm talking, and you're talking again. If she was not impeding their ability to travel, and that's easily disproven because she's waving them forward. You can even hear her in the video. Go ahead, go. You can hear her in the video. I just played it for the people in here, right, of her waving.
Okay, I've got a question for you.
You should hold on. You should really go watch it. Furthermore, if you watch the most recent video that was released,
I've seen it all.
I'm gonna hang up on you.
I've got a question for you.
I'm gonna hang up on you. I'm gonna hang up on you.
Why would you hang up?
Because you won't let me finish. And you made a claim about impeding their ability to travel. And when it's my turn to debunk your statement, you can't shut up. Right? That's the problem. You have to let me debunk what you're saying. If you can't shut up, I will just hang up on you. Right? Today's not the day. My chest hurts. I'm not yelling over you. You made a statement. Yes, 100% she was impeding their ability to travel. That's easily disproven. How do you think the SUV with the ICE agent got on the other side of her? How do you think the 7 cars that passed in the 2 minutes that they were filming, if you watch the most recent video that was released, got by? You can see the video. I'm going to play it again. Let's play it again for everybody here. Let's just play it again. Right, and hopefully this guy's watching, but I bet he'll refuse to see the truth. Right, I'll very easily play it for you so you can see that you're 100% incorrect. You couldn't be more fucking wrong. You quite literally could not be more wrong. But you can't shut up long enough to hear the truth. So let's yeah, they just can't stop talking, right? Like when they're wrong, they just can't stop talking. Do you know why? Because they're terrified to give me a chance to finish. Watch this, guy.
There's Renee Good's car right there. This is the video moments before this happened. Let's take a look really quick and see if there was chaos like they claimed before everything happened. Now, they are honking their horns, but there's no law against that. Right? There's no law against honking your horn. So you're going to see a bunch of cars start traveling here, and they pass her with no problem. It proves she's not blocking the roadway. People can travel freely. Through this video footage, I don't see any car stuck in the snow, so I don't know where exactly that part
see all the cars
comes
passing
from. But here's the cars traveling with no problem right by Renee's vehicle because clearly she was not blocking them. There's another car right there. Travels right by with no problem. I mean, that's all that was happening. Horns were being honked. That's about it.
So you can actually see in that video the ICE agent go around and go to the right. This guy says, well, he went off the road. He didn't need to go off the road. Their training says to do that. He went around the back. He could have just went through the lane all those other cars were going through. Did you guys see him? He was the SUV that went to the right. The fact that these people are trying to twist themselves into a pretzel to bootlick for ICE agents who are, by the way, who ICE is hiring, bottom of the fucking barrel. Bottom of the barrel, high school graduates, and I'm not shitting on people who have a high school diploma, right? But I'm just saying, like, they have no higher education, right? They're often people who couldn't make it as law enforcement in other agencies, people who were forced to resign, people who were fired from their positions in other law enforcement agencies. What's your first name, and did you support Trump?
Yeah, my name's Bob, and yes.
Your name's not Bob, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, well, it is. It's not my account, but yeah.
It's your
But pretty much, man, like I just want to go talk about like what you were talking about at first, anyways, about the whole like ICE incident and everything like that. So, I mean, long story short, like she was there, right? She didn't need to be there. She wanted to be. So I know you guys heard the slogan, "Play stupid games, win stupid prizes," right? That's pretty much what will happen, right? She was sitting there blocking traffic. You could say she wasn't in the middle of the road. She was, and pretty much she did it. And she almost ran over an officer. Obviously, she didn't, but she almost did. And I don't know if you've ever been like in a sticky situation, right? But it's when it's moments like that, and it's like, hey, you got to make a split-second decision. Like, I don't know if you've ever been in one of those, but it can be pretty scary, right? So yes, she was turning her wheel.
Have I ever
but
seen?
He didn't.
Sorry, go ahead. I thought you were finished. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, you're fine. Go ahead, man.
Nothing. What you're saying? You keep saying split second. The vehicle didn't start. The vehicle was moving extremely slow. The vehicle didn't start speeding up, right, until he fired a shot through the windshield and then fired shots. Once he fires the shot and hits her, right? Yeah, the car does speed up. It speeds up because she's deceased. She probably died I mean, I don't know if she died instantly, but she's unconscious at the very least, right? What happens when you get hit with a bullet in the head? Right. Your body is going to immediately go stiff, limp. All your weight goes right down on the gas pedal, and the vehicle lunges forward. It didn't lunge forward until they shot the first bullet. But I want to say there's a number of reasons I hold the position I do. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes is just another way for you to say I bootlick, right? That's all you're saying. Do you know what the Constitution is, sir? How old are you?
Well, yes, I know what the Constitution is, but we're not talking about the Constitution.
We actually are, because it's our constitutional right. It's our.
We're talking about.
Excuse me.
We're talking about a lady impeding traffic.
No, calm down.
Impeding.
ICE doesn't. Can you stop talking?
We're talking about a lady.
Stop talking for a second.
Trying to block ICE
officers. Stop talking for a second. First of all, let's be clear. I know you're panicking because I'm bringing up the Constitution. She's exercising her constitution. Excuse me. She's exercising her constitutional right to protest. So yes, the Constitution does matter. Now, when you said she's impeding traffic, she's not impeding their ability to travel. If you think that she's potentially committing some kind of traffic violation unrelated, then yeah, that's not a job for ICE. ICE enforces civil immigration law. They don't force domestic law on American citizens. Right? So we've shown the video multiple times in here. We've shown pictures. We've shown everything. I don't know how many times we have to do it. Maybe you need to watch the video again. She let seven or eight cars pass through with no problem before that. She very clearly waved the ICE agents through like, come on, pass. She wasn't trying to block their ability to travel. She was honking her horn at the very most, and that's it.
That it doesn't matter. She's in the road sideways. You know what I mean? Like,
so being partially in the road
she's interfering with federal agents.
No, that doesn't mean she's interfering.
She's not interfering. She's interfering with federal agents.
How's she interfering?
How is she? She's parked sideways in the middle of the road, blocking agents. Who knows what could happen? Right?
Oh, she was blocking them in. You haven't watched the videos, I can tell. You clearly haven't watched them. She was not blocking them in. You want me to? I'm going to play the video on my live. I'm going to play the video. Hold on. I'm going to play the video on my live. Okay. Do you want me to show it, or do you believe me? That multiple cars passed through with no problem. That she was waving ICE on through.
Yes, I did see that.
Hold on. If she's waving ICE on through, then she's not impeding their ability to travel. Someone who's obstructing or blocking them in doesn't tell them to pass. Right? Someone who's obstructing, right, and impeding their ability to travel blocks them in, doesn't say, go ahead, pass. She wasn't taking up the entire road. She wasn't in the middle of the road, and she wasn't impeding their ability to travel. If she's committing some kind of traffic violation, that's a different argument, but that's not something that ICE would be enforcing.
She's interfering with
How?
what they're doing, with their operation.
How?
She is sideways, like the last caller said, perpendicular in the road.
Being perpendicular in the road does not constitute interference.
Yes, it does. How does it not? So
because she's not impeding their ability to travel.
Sideways, that's besides the point, right? So if I'm
no, it's
sideways,
not
right,
beside
in the middle
the
of the
point.
road,
It's
not.
But
you might say.
Did you just say it's besides the point?
It's not the middle of the road.
Did you just say it's besides the point?
You might not.
Did you just say it's besides the point? Dude, you just said it's besides the point. That's the dumbest thing anyone said in here today, besides the point.
You're so hounded on, oh, she wasn't in the middle of the road. Okay, cool. She wasn't in the middle of the road. There are 2 lanes, but she is blocking an entire lane, right? So what I'm trying to say is if you're blocking an entire lane sideways and you're requiring traffic to go around, right, to potentially cause traffic accidents, could cause ICE agents to crash into each other. It didn't require
them to go
right?
around.
Or, who knows, she could be setting up an ambush, right? You know what I mean? She could be setting up an ambush and blocking those officers in, so they have to go a certain way. You never know what's
that's not what happened, though.
So that's what I'm saying.
But that's not what she was doing.
Right,
like I said,
not what happened. But
so that's not relevant here, right? So what the point
but
I'm
the
making?
Options are.
She was not. First of all, this is a one-way road. In case you didn't know that, so no one's coming the opposite direction. It's a one-way street.
I did. It's a 2-lane one-way road. Yeah.
Right. It's a one-way road.
Yep.
Those cars passed very easily because she wasn't blocking the road. She was not blocking both lanes. A vehicle just because a vehicle's positioned perpendicular in the road does not automatically constitute obstruction under Minnesota law or Minneapolis traffic laws or federal law. Okay?
Common sense.
Okay, so again, but regardless, it does not justify her getting shot. So let me give you the argument for her getting shot. Can I please finish? Remember, I'm speaking now. So here's the argument. Whether or not she is or not, right? It's not relevant to whether or not it was a justified death. Okay, so Agent Ross.
Should she have died? Definitely not. I don't think
Agent Ross violated his own training, right, by positioning himself in front of the vehicle. Okay, he shouldn't have went around the front of the vehicle. Okay.
She was being told to step out of the vehicle. She shouldn't have pulled. She shouldn't have drove the vehicle. Car should have went right into park. She should have stepped out.
Well, that's not what vehicles are. Well, first of all, technically officers are supposed to order that she turn the vehicle off before they tell her to exit the vehicle, which they didn't. And I can get into ICE wearing masks and refusing to identify themselves and all of that kind of stuff, but I really don't think I need to here. DOJ has a no shoot at vehicles rule. Okay, they have a policy that bans discharging firearms at moving vehicles, right? Unless the occupants threaten independently with deadly force, or there's no evasion possible, like moving out of the path. If moving out of the path is possible, ICE policy, DOJ policy specifically prohibits discharging your firearm. Do you know why they train officers not to discharge their firearm at moving vehicles?
Probably so incidents like what just happened don't happen.
Because what happens when you shoot someone who's driving a car? Does the vehicle stop?
No, that's what I just said.
Right. This vehicle doesn't happen. Right. This vehicle sped up. It sped down the road and slammed into a bunch of other stuff. Right. We're lucky more people didn't die. So unless you're in imminent danger, their policy specifically prohibits what he did. He violated his training. Agents are trained never to stand in the front of vehicles, right? So that's something, as I brought up before. And do you know what objective reasonableness is under Graham v. Connor?
No, I don't.
Okay. So let me explain this way. Do you think that officer could have stepped out of the way?
I mean, yeah, definitely could have. Yep.
Okay, then guess what? It's not justified.
but it's a split-second decision, so you don't really
No,
know
no, no. It's
what's
not a
going on from
split
that.
second. The car didn't accelerate until he fired his weapon. Do you understand that the car was slow moving until he discharged his firearm? Christopher, thank you for the $5 super chat. I'm not reading that out loud, though, because there's a little one near that freaks out about that. I forget what I said. What was I saying to you? What did I just say to you? Oh, if he can step out of the way, then clearly it's not a justified death, right? He created so I would say self-created danger. I would say unreasonable threat perception. I would say he didn't follow his own training. There's multiple reasons, but what it comes down to is, right, he could have, there was alternative methods here, right, to evade. He could have clearly just stepped to the side, which is really what he did. I honestly dispute that he was actually hit. He leaned into the vehicle. It was quite obvious.
I definitely think so. You're right. You're right with that, right? And I definitely think the administration 100% overly exaggerated it. Like, so Trump, Christie, they all did. But again, like, she reversed the vehicle, right? She was reversing to
get away from them.
Get away from them.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, like, she should have just, to get away from them. Yeah, that's what I'm assuming she was trying to do, right?
You have to understand, like,
she was trying to hit him and trying to kill him, which I'm pretty sure she probably wasn't.
She wasn't, right? But the point I'm making is, besides just her intent, right? His use of deadly force becomes much harder to justify legally, right? To justify that him killing her, right? Let's be honest, right? I encourage you to watch, and they'll break this down with ballistics, and they'll be able to tell how fast the vehicle was moving and when and everything when they obviously when they prosecute this case, if they prosecute this case, which they likely will in the future at some point. There's no statute of limitations on homicide, so he absolutely can be prosecuted in the future. It's really going to come down to whether or not he could have stepped away with that. Yeah, and I think it's pretty obvious when you look at multiple different angles that he was not in any imminent danger.
I mean that's your opinion. Sorry, it's my opinion. So that's what makes America great, right? Is that we can state our own opinions.
Well,
that's really right now.
An opinion.
But
it's
honestly,
really
like,
what the law
I
is.
feel,
but like I'm giving you things in the law that undermine.
Like you said, until the investigation's done.
But I'm just giving you things in the law that undermine justification, right? Like you can say it's justified,
right. Yeah, I understand that,
it's
but
not.
But at the end of the day, it is your opinion, right? You can state things in a law, but there's always other things that contradict with what you're going to be saying.
So I think what's important
like
for you to recognize here is that I don't know how familiar are you with your Constitution? Do you know your first 5 amendments? He hung up. So that would be no. So that's part of the problem here. And this guy seemed like he was probably in his 20s maybe. MAGA people don't know their Constitution. They don't know what their rights are. So when they hear that this woman was, protesting, right? I'm very concerned with the way that this administration is demonizing your constitutional rights, and you clowns are letting them. You have a constitutional right to protest. You have a constitutional right to legally observe what ICE is doing. A constitutional right. And this administration is essentially making it seem, and these younger men are falling for it because they're such bootlickers, man. We have a generation of bootlickers here. Valerie, thank you so much for the support on Venmo, Valerie. I accidentally stumbled. Hold on one second. I just want to read Valerie's thing here. Hold on one second, okay?
Edward Thornton.
Oh, great. Hold on one
Hey,
second.
Adam.
Hold on one second, okay? I'm not picking up.
Certainly.
Hold on. Valerie, thank you so much. Let me see here. Let's see. Valerie says, accidentally stumbled on you over a year ago on TikTok. Been listening to you ever since. Sorry to have to deal with this. Thank you so much, Valerie. I appreciate you, Valerie.
Thanks, Valerie.
You know, it's the thing is, like, this issue in particular is not something that I am really interested in having, you know, these long drawn out debates about, but I do find that is important for people to understand how they're very blatantly mischaracterizing an otherwise obvious, unjustified murder of an innocent woman. And I think that's important for people to know is the truth. What's up, dude?
Hi, Adam. I can explain to you why they're justifying the blatant, unjustified murder of an innocent woman. They have been propagandized, and through Fox News specifically, but there's other groups that have come up and built news channels that do the same thing. I call it fear porn, and they show them fear all the time. What this does is it enlarges their amygdalas. This makes them revert back through evolution to a state prior to human beings. They become more like a Neanderthal. They become more like a proto-human being. Fear runs their life. They work off of instinct. And to bring this into the modern age, their instinct is to justify anything Donald Trump says, to justify what the ICE agent did, to use any sort of an argument that they can, even when the facts and the videos show them that that's not true. They still stick to their instinct.
100%.
These people have literally devolved. They have devolved into a state prior to being a human being. They're no longer human beings. They're subhuman at this point. They don't have the ability, they don't have the knowledge, and they don't have the capacity in their brains any longer to process information and look at it on a scale like
I agree. Listen, they definitely do. They definitely are. I appreciate you calling in. I have to move to the next debate, but I appreciate you calling in. I agree with what you're saying. Thanks for calling in. Appreciate it. Many hours debating January 6th with MAGA, and they'll tell me it was a peaceful protest after I lay every fact in front of them, every piece of evidence, every video, everything. They will still look at me and tell me. And then worst case scenario, if I lay out the case well enough that they realize they can't claim that it was a peaceful protest, they'll say Antifa did it. They do this with everything. It doesn't matter what it is. Right? They do this with everything. Everything. Not some things, everything. MAGA has made Trumpism their entire identity. And when Trump does something that's so blatantly unconstitutional or so blatantly wrong morally, they can't accept that failure because they attach that failure to themselves. When you make something like this your entire identity, you can accept that as a failure. You can't. Listen, if you have a problem with what that guest said, MAGA has already dehumanized you. They don't look at you as human, so I would stop playing above the belt with MAGA, my friend. Otherwise, you're going to lose. And we're about to take a different path here, so you better get on and get used to it. Are you a Trump supporter?
No, man, just wanted to say, hope you feel better, all right? Big fan.
All right, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Take care.
You're welcome. Yep.
Yeah, I think I have bronchitis. And with her car, they go out and approach her. So here's the thing, right? MAGA's tried to say that she's committing obstruction. I love a MAGA person saying we're full of hate. That's fucking funny at this point. Like, that's actually laughable at this point. It's actually laughable. You guys are celebrating the death of an innocent woman. You are celebrating the death of an innocent woman. You are justifying and celebrating. The same MAGA people that ran around and cried about the death of Charlie Kirk are the same Christians that will look you in the face and say this woman deserved to die. This innocent mother whose children now don't have a mom. Because ICE, not even the police, ICE killed her. Disgusting. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should be fucking ashamed of yourself. And I know you're ashamed. I know you're ashamed. I know you are. And I know you know everything I'm saying is true, and you can't stand it. You feel naked right now, don't you? There's no arguing this. You know it, and I know it. Sorry. One of the biggest MAGA influencers wrote a book called Yeah, MAGA does not care about your... they think you're subhuman. They are... We're reaching that point. I could tell you that. That's why I think the important thing to recognize, right? And the important thing to teach young people is what their constitutional rights are. This idea, right, that protesting, right, is fucking around and finding out is sickening. The idea that protesting is play stupid games, win stupid prizes is disgusting. You don't even realize the damage you're doing to your own rights. To your own rights. By perpetuating that narrative. Hold on one second, guys. I just have to use the bathroom really quick. So I'm just going to play the rest of this Minnesota thing while I'm doing that. Hold on one second. Minnesota, by the way, breaking news here. Minnesota is suing the Trump administration. The federal government specifically. So just so everybody knows, this is what I'm playing here real quick while I just use the bathroom. It's not going to take long. But I want to make sure I put something up real quick. Well, only be gone 1 minute, but I don't want to leave a dead air.
Honored to be joined and in partnership.
Guys, please hit the share button, tap the screen. Hit the share button, tap the screen so we can get some more people going here.
Under the leadership of Mayor Herr, who is also a dear friend of many years, we've come together and we're here to announce a lawsuit we're filing against the United States Department of Homeland Security to end the unlawful, unprecedented surge of the federal law enforcement agents into Minnesota. Because this has to stop. It just has to stop. We allege that the obvious targeting of Minnesota for our diversity, for our democracy, and our differences of opinion with the federal government is a violation of the Constitution and of federal law. We allege that the surge's reckless impact on our schools, on our local law enforcement, is a violation of the 10th Amendment and the sovereign laws and powers of the Constitution grants to states. We allege that DHS's use of excessive and lethal force, their warrantless, racist arrests, their targeting of our courts, our churches, houses of worship, and schools are a violation of the Administrative Procedures Act on arbitrary and capricious federal actions.
All right,
And
let's
we
go,
ask
let's
that
go,
the
let's
courts
go.
will end the surge of thousands of DHS agents into Minnesota.
Do I think what? That ICE will listen? Well, it's not really about listening at this point. But I think they need to explore every single avenue to seek immediate relief here, because one thing that's not recognized, right, and this directly affects the community, is the economy, the local economy in Minnesota. Do you guys think that ICE conducting these broader operations affects their local economy? You're damn right it does. You're damn right it does. It fucks everything up. Business is shut down because of what ICE is doing. That's the thing people don't understand here. By the way, did anyone see Trump's job numbers? Did anyone see Trump's job numbers? Trash. But I digress. This administration gives no consideration to how it affects them because they don't care. They don't care about Minnesota. They don't care about the Twin Cities. They have no interest in what goes on there, and you know why. And you know why. He hates Minnesota. He hates Minnesota like he hates California. He hates California like he hates New York. Yes. I don't know if it's since 2000, but it's definitely the worst in a long time. I'm so tired of this shit. I mean, so let's open the phone lines up and see if somebody wants to call in, you guys. I'm reaching that point, though. I do appreciate everybody supporting. Judy, thank you so much for the support. I got to go get some medicine here because I'm dealing with a chest cold here, and it sucks. I think things are going to seriously pop off when they come out and say they're not prosecuting this guy. Let me ask you guys a question really quick, right? Why would, if this case is so clearly justified, can anyone tell me why the U.S. Attorney's Office kicked Minnesota off this case? Anyone want to tell me why the U.S. Attorney has a problem with Minnesota investigating this on a state level? This is a easily could be a jointly led investigation. Why are you avoiding Minnesota having access to this investigation, having access to investigative material, having access to the crime scene, having access to interviews? You have to ask yourself that question. Why is the U.S. Attorney kicking Minnesota off the investigation? Because they don't want them to get to the truth. They know. They know how damaging this is to their agenda, right? If they don't have the people on their side, right, the MAGA Muppets to run around and perpetuate their nonsense, right? If people realize they're actually being lied to, they're in big trouble. Roy Dean, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Key Cat, thank you for the $5 super chat. That guy hit the nail on the head and he gave me a laugh. I don't know who you're talking about. Oh, that other guy from before? Yeah. He definitely did. I just saw a video of ICE cleaning out Ross's house as in hiding his shit. Yeah, so I heard he's in some form of protective custody. But I can guarantee you one thing for absolute certain. Your tax dollars are paying for his protection. That doesn't sit well with me. But your tax dollars are paying for him to be protected for sure. Minnesota is a testing ground for Trump's. Listen, this has really been, it's not just in Minnesota. We saw an escalation in D.C. These people are they're emboldened because the Trump administration tells them they can do this. The Trump administration tells them they can get away with this. I've been seeing this for the last several months, right? ICE agents walking up to America, filming them and ripping their phones out of their hand and saying, "You're interfering with my investigation." So this was bound to happen. I said this before the election. I said this before the election. This is an inevitable consequence of not just a lawless administration, but mass deportation conducted by a lawless administration. You can't do these types of things without killing American citizens, without violating the constitutional rights of American citizens. It's never too late to turn around and say, you know what? This isn't at all what I voted for. This isn't at all what I voted for. And I want to start standing with the people, and I want to start standing with the truth. It's never too late to join that movement. Did this guy just call in and moan and hang up? Dude, that guy just called in and moaned. What the fuck was that, dude? This person says you cannot and will not stop ICE. How does that boot polish taste, Untamed? How does that boot polish taste? You cannot and will not stop ICE. How does that boot polish taste? God damn, you're a bootlicker. Holy moly. No, that dude really, he just called in and fucking moaned. He went, oh. Like, what was that, dude? What the hell? Call back in if you're a Trump supporter. Call in. Call in. Call the number. Call back. Do we really, by the way, that Patel guy, I don't know if we're going to do it today, but we're going to call that Patel guy on here. We're definitely going to call that Patel guy.
Hello, this is Ashley.
Okay. Yeah, I think that was Cash Patel on an alt account. I think it was Cash Patel on an alt account. Because I really feel like if I ever had an interaction with Cash Patel, he would call me the F slur. I really think if I feel like Cash Patel says the F slur a lot. Like in his personal life. Like I think he calls like his friends when they like, because I feel like Cash Patel's the kind of guy who like really isn't secure in himself, you know. Come on, Trump supporters, I got limited time. If you support this, call in 908-652-3703 or I'm gonna go. If I'm done with if we're done with Trump supporters, I'm pretty much at my limit anyway, but I have a few more minutes. I could probably take one more call. So if you'd like to call in, 908-652-3703. Is ICE out of control, yes or no? Do you support what this officer did to Renee Good? And if you do, you're a bootlicking fascist, but I'll discuss it with you. You said the N slur in court. Listen, I feel like Cash Patel slurs. I mean, I really do. I feel like he's a guy who slurs. Cash Patel looks like a guy who, like, calls people homophobic slurs. That's what I feel like he does that. You know? Hey, Cash. Wit, why are you even talking? What do you mean he can't see me? What are you talking about? Cash Patel's not actually in here, you goof. Now you're muted. Cash Patel was in here. I mean, I swear to God. These people are so simple. They really are. If we have to pay for Kristi Noem's bloated lips, can we at least fix Cash Patel's crazy eyes so he's not creepy? No, I don't want to spend taxpayer dollars on fixing his eyes. I would rather pay taxpayer dollars on fixing his fucking brain. Like if we're gonna be doing transplants, then we need to be transplanting some brains around here. Let me read this. Crystal with the $4.99 super chat says, heard a quote today. I can't stop thinking about America isn't like this because Trump is president. Trump is president because America is like this. That is very true, Crystal. That is a true statement. Jamie, Adam, I always think of that quack sound you made when you said, I'll see you in Valhalla. Brother, we have the watch. Yeah, I can do the Cash Patel imitation, but I can't do it today because I'm not feeling that well. But yeah, that was one of the cringiest moments in political history when Cash Patel got up in front of the podium and he goes, "And we have the watch, brother. Brother, I'll see you in Valhalla." By the way, he's talking about a fucking podcaster. Why the fuck would Charlie Kirk be in Valhalla? Like, I don't understand. Like, I really don't. And these same people that were crying over Charlie Kirk now celebrate the death of an innocent woman. I mean, that speaks volumes right there. Remember when they were all like, guys, it's not political. It doesn't matter if you're left or right. He had a family. He had a family. Yeah, even if he was racist, he had a family. And this woman has a family, and they're like, find out. Now they're saying, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Yeah. Yeah. And Charlie Kirk's in hell. All right, can we just stop? I mean, let's be honest here. I'm trying to get a new computer. I'm trying to enhance my stream and everything by getting a new computer and all this. By the way, guys, if you have not hit the follow button, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's free. Consider becoming a member of the channel and all that. Are you a Trump supporter?
I think it's going all right. I called in earlier. I mean, I'm not in the streets protesting. I think it's going.
How did our call end earlier?
You hung up on me.
Would you not? Were you refusing to shut the fuck up?
No, I mean, I'm fine with you say something, I say something. It's okay.
Okay, go ahead. I don't have long, but we can try and have
So I want to talk about I want to talk about your supporters. Yeah, sure. I want to talk about your supporters. Well, first of all, you keep saying...
No, we're not talking about my supporters. If you want to talk about the ICE stuff again, we're not talking about my supporters. Sorry, my supporters are great. Deal with it.
Okay, well, you were right. You were saying people are celebrating her death. I've been listening for an hour, and I haven't heard anybody call in and celebrate.
That's nice. Well, I've been debating for about 8 hours today, and I've talked to several people. And I had my live on TikTok today consistently streamed in front of thousands of people, consistently anywhere from 1.3 to 1.6 thousand people consistently, and thousands total. And I can tell you that the chat was full of people making fun of it. There's tons of people making fun of it, making jokes about it, laughing about it, saying that she learned her lesson, right? She leered her lesson, from that learning center.
People probably anonymously.
So don't play this game that Trump supporters aren't celebrating it, all right?
Confident to do that.
Huh?
I'm just saying I hadn't heard it from the calls. People aren't saying that and trying to defend it, I guess.
Well, they have in our chat. We've muted them. Right.
But and congrats, by the way. I like what you're doing. By the way.
No, you don't. But
I think it's cool that you're taking on conversations from the other side. I do.
Yeah, well, that's what I do.
I think that's admirable. But I think kind of like this whole thing is using this lady's life as a cudgel for the cause.
No, that's not at all what's happening.
Keeping ICE out.
What cause? The cause of respecting people's constitutional rights. Here's the thing I don't understand, right? Not a single piece of evidence has been provided of obstruction. I had multiple people argue impeding her ability to travel. Well, that's not true, right? And we debunked that thoroughly. She's waving them forward. People who are impeding people's ability to travel don't wave people forward. That's just not what you do if you're doing that in that circumstance. So what we know for sure...
People are going to say that she was trying to dictate the situation.
No, what we know for sure is that she was, I'm talking about prior to them trying to rip open the door, is that she was lawfully exercising her constitutional right to protest and to lawfully observe. Right?
Okay. At the end of it, I'm going to be circling around the thing that this was awful, but lawful, I guess. Like, it's an awful thing. You can call the guy a butcher, but I think at the end of the day, I don't think he's going to get charged. You know?
It's not lawful, and I already explained this before. And whether he gets charged, I mean, whether it's justified or not, right? So,
well, she dragged her partner and a cop, while she's backing up.
What?
And then after she backs up, now the guy's
No
in front
one
of the
was
car.
dragged.
She dragged both of
the fuck are
her
you
partner
talking?
and the other guy, right?
What do you mean dragged?
And the other cop.
The cop was holding on to the door handle and trying to rip open the door. That doesn't constitute dragging.
Yes.
Okay, that's not dragging.
Well, he got pulled by the car.
Well, he was
That's
trying
what
to
I'm
rip
saying.
open the
And,
door.
her partner got pulled by the car too.
He was
Yes.
trying to rip open the door. So when you rip open the door, yeah, if you don't let
It was an
go,
erratic
if you don't let,
situation.
no, it's not an erratic situation. They're not. First of all,
Yeah. If you
again,
don't let go, you'll be dragged if somebody's driving.
well, yeah, you don't try and rip open doors, right? Your authority is limited when it comes to American citizens. You don't have jurisdiction over
Well,
the
her partner
American
was
population.
deciding between getting
This is
in
why
and
I
getting
kicked
out.
him before, because he interrupts. Her partner is not relevant, right, in this situation. In terms of if you're trying to justify why she was murdered,
She got pulled
right?
too.
That doesn't have anything to do.
No,
with
I'm just
what we're
saying it's me.
Okay, so the point is, right? The point is, right? And all right, let me simplify this for you. Why do you think the U.S. Attorney's Office, right, is blocking Minnesota's access? The BCA was denied any access to evidence, right? Clearly shielding Ross in this investigation. Why do you think that is? Give me a reasonable, logical explanation why the U.S. Attorney, right, is blocking Minnesota state access, the BCA. Let's see if you can critically analyze why you think they would be concerned with a state-level BCA investigation into whether or not this individual was justified in killing this
I think
woman.
they're trying to use this woman's. Yeah, I think they're trying to use this woman's, life as a cudgel for getting ICE out of the state. There are people
What?
that feel that way.
That has nothing to do with the BCA.
Sticking point, right?
No, the BCA's not at all. They're looking at the evidence. It's a jointly led investigation. The federal government would still have jurisdiction. Why would you be so concerned with giving them access to that information? You know what prevents bias, right? You know what creates an unbiased investigation? Not limiting a state level investigation. An investigation
That's
becomes
why
inherently
I
biased.
can't really defend it because I agree with you on that point.
Right.
You know?
But okay, you can agree with me on that point. Now you need to critically analyze why. Why would you possibly do that unless you're trying to control the narrative? You're concerned with what information might fall into the hands of the BCA.
Well, both sides are afraid that they're going to railroad it to a certain direction, I guess.
Don't
And
say
that's why
both sides.
I can't defend it.
Don't say both sides.
Well,
Minnesota's
I think
not.
you-
Wait.
you're
Minnesota's
saying,
not
you're saying that the
afraid.
federal government is going to railroad it to him getting off acquitted, and you think that if Minnesota is involved, that it'll go the other way.
I'm fine
right?
with the
Get
federal
prosecuted,
government.
maybe.
No, because they have jurisdiction here. I have no problem with the FBI investigating this case in a jointly led investigation. I have a problem with them kicking the BCA off the case. I have the problem with them blocking Minnesota out from the evidence. That's what I have a problem with.
And
right.
And
I'm not saying if all and it should only be Minnesota, then sure, you could argue what you're arguing. But I'm not saying that. I was fine with it being a joint investigation.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay, so now critically analyze why.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And by the way, the BCA was also fine with it, just so you know.
Because you think, yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you critically analyze why, because you think they have a case, right?
You would not be concerned, right, with what evidence, right? You wouldn't be concerned about blocking Minnesota state access, right, if you didn't think it was unjustified.
You know, I'm not wanting to make my opinion before all the facts are out. That's part of why I like you having the conversation. And I agree, you know, yeah, more investigation, more sides of it, you know, find out the truth. I agree with that. And yeah, you should be able to have third parties like weigh in, even though it's not, the state isn't a third party really in the situation, you know. They're just as much a part of it. But yeah, and yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's going to be a federal investigation.
No, it's just that they both have interest in the case,
Yeah.
right? It involves a woman who lived in Minnesota who was murdered by a federal agency. So clearly it needs to be a jointly led investigation. It occurred in the state of Minnesota. A woman who lived in Minnesota was killed by a federal agent, right? So clearly both the BCA and the FBI need to be involved in the investigation, have access to the evidence. Nobody okay, but either way, again,
I agree with you.
I don't know what else to argue here. What's going to matter at the end of the day, and obviously that information's not out there, but you can just see it doesn't pass the eye test. The video shows evasion, not threat, right? Which is what MAGA is trying to perpetuate. That the video shows her being an aggressor. I see evasion, right? The SUV, the SUV turned right and away from Ross, right, on an open street.
Right. That's where you hang up on me.
You're wrong. You can see her turning right. Are you talking about the officer?
How does he see that?
He doesn't have to see it. That's not the point. The point is she's not an aggressor. Okay. She's not going to hit him. She's turning away.
He doesn't know that. Well, but despite all the evidence,
what he knows, so listen, what he knows is that he has time.
That's subjective.
So again, what he knows is that he has time to sidestep the vehicle, right? He has time to sidestep the vehicle. So this negates. Excuse me. It's clear he has time. It's very clear if you watch every angle that he has time to sidestep the vehicle. Right, and does successfully do that and lean into it. He's not even in front of the vehicle, right?
So wasn't a success.
When he fires the first shot, he's not even in front of the vehicle. This negates any imminent danger under Graham v. Connor. You need to go look it up, okay? If potentially supporting manslaughter if the jurors reject self-defense.
You know, all for. I'm not supporting anything. I'm supporting talking about, hey, what did we all, you know, think we saw? I'm not the one who's going to be in the jury or anything.
You are justifying it.
From what it seems like is like she did hit him. And what I'm saying is, I think at the end of this, he's not going to be charged. So, you know, and it doesn't matter how I feel about it, not specifically. I'm just telling you, that's how I think it's going to go. When he was talking to her partner, right? And then she backed up, and then he's in front of the car now. She turns her wheel. You don't see that, you know? That's
why are you keep saying that? No one's saying he saw the wheel. What we're saying is that there is no video proof that corroborates the claim that she hit him, right? Which undermines this idea of reasonable fear. Okay?
And
There is
they'll
no
come out in
reasonable.
the,
There is no
actual
reasonable.
case. Let's say that.
Not no. Based on his position, no. No.
Right.
He. So
Okay.
hit him.
Well,
So
then
hit him.
they'll come
So
out in the case,
if I lean into a car, it's funny because I remember when I was younger, I had a friend and we used to do this thing when we were driving off, which is probably stupid hindsight, right? Where when he would drive away, we'd smack our arms on the vehicle. We'd lean into it and smack it and be like, "Oh, you hit me," or "Oh, you ran over my foot." That's what he did.
Right.
That's what he did. He leaned into the vehicle and went, "Oh." He was already on the. You can literally see it in the video. Yeah. You can see there's already.
I don't want to make a judgment about what this guy was thinking.
Guy, there's pictures out there, frame by frame. There's pictures out there, and the next time I go live, which is going to be tomorrow on here, I'm going to have. And I just realized today I probably shouldn't have debated this on here without the frame by frame photographs, which is why it's on TikTok. I just pull those videos, those pictures up to prove the point. I'm going to have frame by frame photographs in here tomorrow to show people this is the point the first shot was fired. He's clearly not in imminent danger when he fires the first shot. Furthermore, 2 more shots were fired through the... Shut up. 2 more shots.
There you go. I agree.
Hold
with
on.
You that
2 more shots were fired through the driver's side window, which also proves excessive force. They need to justify each one of those bullets. There's no reason he should be shooting multiple times through the driver's side window. He's way off to the side of the vehicle at that point. He's clearly pissed.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Then you're fine to feel that way. He was in no imminent danger. I think that's true. In hindsight, I think he probably would have been okay. But that's hindsight. And yeah, okay. I think we're, that's as much as I could talk about it.
Someone made a really good point.
Yeah,
in chat.
your supporter earlier.
I have
chat right now.
I have thousands of people who support my content, and that 99.9% of them are cool and awesome. So I don't know what you're talking about, but this person in chat just wrote something. Power.
The guy who was saying people are subhuman based on how they think. That was weird.
Listen, you guys literally call people subhuman on a daily basis. Your policies.
You didn't call him out on it.
Excuse me. Your policies.
And you guys,
why should I? I'm not
doing that.
I'm not tone policing people on the left.
But you bums the word when other people do it.
Again, are you gonna let me finish? This is why you got kicked before, because you yap too much. I'm not gonna tone police the left's reaction to MAGA anymore. I'm so over it. I am not tone policing the left anymore. If people are mad about the shit that's happening to them right now and they want to they want to say that kind of shit, then I'm going to let them say it. I'm not tone policing the left anymore. All bets are off. Okay, we have passed that point.
Tone policing.
Your policies, the policies you support, are inhumane. You guys consistently sit up here on your high horse and claim that you're upset because somebody said MAGA's subhuman on a phone call in my life. You support policies that treat communities of people as subhuman bizarre. And have for decades, even beyond Donald Trump.
Yeah, I'm not purporting that, but that guy did, and he was
bro, you voted for Donald
people,
Trump.
Think a certain way is gonna. Can I respond too?
You voted for Donald Trump.
Yeah, that they think a certain way that makes them subhuman. That's bizarre, man. You gotta.
It's not about thinking.
I don't know why you would want that kind of as your supporter.
I know you want to focus on this one guy that called, and you're really upset by that. You know why you're probably upset by it?
Guy who was,
it probably
saying wolves in sheep's clothing. I think he was the wolf.
Why?
Anyway, something to think about later.
Why do you think that guy was the wolf? Oh, he ran. Get checked. Listen, I don't think you should be determining who's a lawyer and who's not. Right? Room temp IQ, my guy. I don't think you should be determining who's a lawyer and who's not. Okay? I think you should focus on whether or not you know your first 5 amendments in the 3 branches of government before you determine whether or not someone's a defense attorney. I love how people act like being a defense attorney is like an unreasonably high accomplishment or something. It's really not. And I mean, really, I don't think you should be making that determination, my guy. The guy was upset that a guy said he was a lawyer, and he's upset that a guy called MAGA subhuman. Listen, here's the thing I'll say, right? Very simply put. MAGA and Trump, they support policies that treat communities, marginalized communities of people as subhuman, that further marginalize these communities. You guys consistently perpetuate narratives, right? In fact, weren't you talking about Charlie Kirk before? Charlie Kirk perpetuated stereotypes that those communities were subhuman. He said those people don't exist. He denied their existence. I consistently watch the right wish death on those types of communities, and yet I'm supposed to be tone policing someone making that type of comment? You must be fucking dreaming. You must be dreaming. Absolutely not. We have reached the point, right? And we reached it a long time ago, but now specifically, where people are going to say things pretty mean about you guys, right? And a lot of it, I'm not going to be the person to tone police the reaction of people who are being directly harmed by this administration. Get over it. You voted for a guy who is the most disrespectful, vile person we've ever had in the Oval Office. So do not, for a second, come up here and clutch your pearls. All right, guys, thanks for coming up. Appreciate you. I love you guys. Guys, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We will be back tomorrow, but we're going to be on TikTok in the morning, I'm assuming, and then we will be on YouTube later. I'm not going to do as long on TikTok tomorrow. I did a really long live on there today. Tomorrow, I will do a much shorter live, and I'll spend a little bit more time on here, even though I still put 2 hours in on here. All right, guys, I've been on for a long time, so I gotta get off and take a break. Love you guys, appreciate you. Thank you so much for the support, and I will see you guys later. Guys, consider becoming a member of the channel. You can do that even when I'm not live. You don't have to become a member of the channel when I'm live. You can become a member of the channel after the live as well too. So if you guys do support, say something in the chat right now. Let me know you do enjoy the content. Lisa, thank you so much too, by the way. Lisa, I appreciate you. And, yeah, that's what I'd say. All right, folks. Take care, and make sure you guys subscribe, because we're trying to build this channel over here like we have YouTube built, and get to the same kind of point that we are on TikTok as over here. All right, everybody. Be well. Love you guys.